Please log in to access your profile.
Hello, good evening. My wife has asked me something. Anyway. Yeah, so I am working on a new playthrough of Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Now, if you saw my old video where I started playing a new version of Mass Effect Legendary Edition, you may be wondering why I'm doing that. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is that I seem to have somehow... Well, okay, so first is that I'm trying to do some research on the playthrough, on how the game goes, so that I can go ahead so anyway, so I'm doing this so that I can do some research on what happens in the game as I'm playing through, because there's a writing project that I want to work on that would be based on this. The writing project would involve it is based on, essentially it's a rewrite of the whole story. It's a fanfic. I'm planning. I'm in the planning stage right now. But essentially I want to take the entire Mass Effect story and port it into a film noir setting. So, Jane now. Time period, considerations. So basically, the idea is that I want to take the story and
Warning, data corruption detected. Please reconstruct profile.
And this is going to take
Confirm pre-service history.
Rewriting and rethinking how these characters work, and how I'm going to translate them into the setting and what the nature of the threat is. It's going to be a very large project because essentially I'm aiming to rewrite the whole trilogy, the whole original trilogy. That way, there are some things that I'll fix.
Confirm psychological profile.
But the plan for that story involves a femshep playthrough, which I haven't actually ever finished doing. And the last time I built a character, when I first got Legendary Edition and I was first trying it out, I built a femshep, so I would have to go back and do this anyway. But also, this is inspired by the fact that I seem to have somehow deleted that old save file, so I couldn't do that one if I wanted to.
Confirm military specialization.
Self-considering. One thing I was considering for the story is the idea of there being that Shepard is going to have no tech powers, no biotic powers. I usually play a Vanguard because I really like shotguns and biotic powers, but for the sake of the story, I am debating whether or not I want to have that. So in this setting, essentially Shepard is a private investigator, as is fairly normal for the genre, film noir genre. extra dimensional threat. And so it's a tough call between, do I want to have very down to earth, very tough as nails, like just enduring through cleverness and combat prowess, or do I want to have her have a bit of a bent towards the supernatural aspects of this world, of this story. Like, there's something about her that makes her uniquely qualified to handle this. But you know what? Now that I say them out loud, I think
Confirm facial identification.
a much better build for what I'm going for. See most of these presets. Oh, I think I've gone all the way through. Okay, so let me see what I got. Yeah, so there's a lot of things that I'll probably be changing throughout the games especially, and they'll become more apparent as I get further. Mass Effect 3, I'm going to change a lot. A lot of Mass Effect 3 really does rely on the galaxy setting. So I'm going to be changing a lot about that. It's very sensitive. Look here. Such a pain. So the problem that I have, obviously, is that it's hard to know what I'm doing when I'm colorblind with this stuff. But you know what? I like that, whatever that is. Let me see here. What does this do? Hey, look here. No, what? So this time I just kind of clicked right through. It was basically just, give me the most basic character. I don't care. But I'm really kind of recreating this whole thing with this project, and so I kind of want to play with it a bit. Lip size, was it? Oh, okay. Actually, I think that looks pretty natural for this character. Where are the other shapes? Can you keep looking around for me, please? There. So yeah, there's going to be some changes I'm going to be making to, especially the third game. Not least which being the ending. I really did not like the ending options for the third game as it originally was. So I'm going to change them. I have modded this game some. I don't know. Let's see here. Do the same color. Is that the same color? It looks roughly the same place. Line up. Right. Doesn't look like they have an exact line up. Okay. My eyebrow options. General idea is that Shepherd is a woman in the late 40s, early 50s in this city who is going to be
Profile reconstruction complete.
So the idea is that she's an investigator. She's working in this city. She's doing this work. She's going to be basically the first woman that the city has ever given a license to be a private investigator. And so a lot of the stuff that happens in the game where a lot of people are uncomfortable with the idea of a human becoming a specter.
Identification confirmed.
A lot of people in the setting being uncomfortable with a woman being a private investigator. You just go ahead and use everything. I'm going to turn subtitles on, auto save, tutorials, yeah, sure. not going to go very far tonight. I basically really was just doing character creation and thinking through some of this initial stuff. But I'll play through...
Well, what about Shepard? Earthborn, but no record of her family.
Doesn't have one. She was raised on the streets, learned to look out for herself.
She saw her whole unit die on a cruise. She could have some serious emotional scars.
Every soldier has scars. Shepard's a survivor.
I forgot to go back to her ears.
Is that the kind of person we want protecting the galaxy?
That's the only kind of person who can protect the galaxy.
I'll make the call.
The year 2148, explorers on Mars discovered the remains of an ancient spacefaring civilization. In the decades that followed, these mysterious artifacts revealed startling new technologies, enabling travel to the furthest stars. The basis for this incredible technology was the force that controlled the very fabric of space and time. From the great discovery of the galaxy called Mass Effect.
The Arcturus Prime relay is in range. Initiating transmission sequence.
Commander?
We are connected. Calculating transit mass and destination. The relay is hot. Acquiring approach vector. All stations secure for transit. Board is green. Approach run has begun. Hitting the relay in 3, 2, 1.
Thrusters, check. Navigation, check. Internal emissions sync engaged. All systems online. Drift, just under 1,500K.
1,500 is good. Your captain will be pleased.
I hate that guy.
Nihilus gave you a compliment, so you hate him.
You remember to zip up your jumpsuit on the way out of the bathroom? That's good. I just jumped us halfway across the galaxy and hit a target the size of a pinhead, so that's incredible. Besides, Spectres are trouble. I don't like having them on board. Call me paranoid.
You're paranoid. The Council helped fund this project. They have a right to send someone to keep an eye on their investment.
Yeah, that is the official story, but only an idiot believes the official story.
They don't send Spectres on shakedown runs.
So there's more going on here than the captain's letting on.
Joker, status report.
Just cleared the mass relay, Captain. Stealth systems engaged. Everything looks solid.
Good. Find a comm buoy and link us into the network. I want mission reports relayed back to Alliance brass before we reach Eden Prime.
Aye, aye, Captain. Better brace yourself, sir. I think Nihilus is headed your way.
He's already here, Lieutenant. Tell Commander Shepard to meet me in the comm room for a debriefing.
You get that, Commander?
I'm on my way.
Is it me or does the Captain always sound a little pissed off?
Only when he's talking to you, Joker.
Okay. Oh, right. You gotta remember what the buttons do. Alright, so now that we have a moment, here's the gist of the story that I'm working on. Like I said, I'm going to be transporting the setting to a single large city in the United States. I haven't decided if it's going to be a real city or not, or if it's going to be named even. Film noir setting, late 40s, early 50s. I think the whole thing is going to start in 48 and then follow a very similar timeline as the actual game does, which I think covers 4 or 5
We're getting
years,
dragged
if I remember
right along with
correctly.
it.
Relax, I'll be sorting that out as I go. The idea here is that I'm going to be taking notes and then transferring those notes to help inform how I write the story. But the Reapers are going to be an extra-dimensional threat that are slipping in to the setting, so into the city, and are a major threat that not everyone realizes is real. So Joker, I'm keeping similar functions of the characters. Now, of course, World War II would have actually just happened, so a lot of this is kind of in the wake of World War II. They wouldn't have had, Amanda Shepard here be a soldier at that time. But she's going to have been involved in the war effort. I was talking to my wife about it. We were considering the idea of medical. She was involved with medical, but probably had to fight occasionally in really bad situations, especially whatever it was that made her a sole survivor. The Akuz situation. Caden is someone she met there. I'm keeping the biotic powers as actual supernatural powers. So there's, at some point near the beginning of World War II, governments will have discovered something that, some mystical element is very similar to, Zero in this setting. And use it to unlock supernatural powers. Caden is somebody who they did early experiments on as a soldier to prepare to see if they could use those powers for combat. The headaches that he suffers in the game, they talk about him having headaches. So Dr. Chockless talks about him having headaches, but then they never do much of anything with it. So I'm going to have that be a more prominent issue in the story. Essentially, he's a soldier. She met during the war. The headaches are too frequent for him to be easily employable, and so basically he lives in her building and works with the detective agency that she will be inheriting at the beginning of the story. So she's kind of keeping an eye on him, and he's lending his strengths as a soldier with supernatural powers to support the work of the agency. I promise my wife, every time my wife has played this game, she's ended up romancing Caden. So I had to promise her that I wouldn't kill Caden this time, because literally every time I've played Mass Effect, Caden is the one who died. And I kept Ashley. Joker, I'm gonna keep his brittle bone disease. I don't remember if he says a specific name for it or what, or if he does, I'm gonna use it. But he's gonna have that, and the idea is that his brother was in the military, and she promised. Yeah, his brother ended up dying probably at the Akuz situation, and she ended up promising before he died that she'd keep an eye on him. So his job in the story is basically, he's just kind of there originally, just to be there. Like he doesn't really have any better prospects going on, and Shepard's offering to help him out and keep an eye on him. But he is a great driver, and so unofficially he drives the company car whenever she's going to a case or investigating a situation. He's the one who's actually driving. So that's going to be his. So he's going to have a very similar function in that regard. I forgot about Presley. How do you talk in this game? I don't remember how to talk in this game. Right. I can look at the key bindings. Prime. All the way to Eden Prime. And I'm wandering around trying to figure out, and then I realized that I'm just pushing buttons to see what they do. But I remember that I could just come in here and look. So interact is spacebar, it looks like. That's shoot, that's aim. Melee is F. V is first aid. G is grenade. H is holster. Okay. I'm gonna have to come back and look at some of these again later, but that'll get me going. I have 3 points. Well, let's see here.
Congratulations, Commander. Looks like we had a smooth run. You heading down to see the captain?
Sounds like you don't trust our Turian guest.
Sorry, Commander. Just having a chat with Adams down at engineering. I didn't mean to cause any trouble. But you have to admit, something's odd about this mission. The whole crew feels it.
Part of the thing that I'm testing is I had to fiddle with some tech stuff earlier, get the because it wasn't recording audio from the game or from my computer at all, and that was a problem because I'm starting to export these things to YouTube, and so that is one of the issues that I'm testing is can you hear the game when I send it to recording. But another thing that I'm testing is when I have the chance, when people can offer something, I have it set up so that the chat will show on the video right here under this video, under my video, kind of along this left side of the screen. So that when I'm answering chat or when I'm talking to chat, people who are watching the recorded video know what I'm responding to.
You think the Alliance brass is holding out on us?
If all we're supposed to do is test out the stealth system, why is Captain Anderson in charge? And then there's Nihilus. Spectres are elite operatives, top covert agents. Why send a Spectre, a Turian Spectre, on a shakedown run? It doesn't add up.
That's a fair point. Let me try this. Oh, I need to change that text. That setting isn't great. I have to change that. Let me see here. Where is that? That's weird. Change that text to white. Font settings. Alright, so let me try this one. Socials. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that shows up there. It is a bit in the way. I'll have to fiddle with that, maybe, I think. I'm gonna make it small. Oh, no, that. If I make it smaller, then it shrinks the whole thing. That's not what I want to do.
What do you know about the stealth systems?
I just know it masks our location from scans and sensors. Cutting-edge technology. The Normandy's the only ship with this prototype drive. But why are we fully staffed? A skeleton crew would be cheaper, less chance of security leaks, too. Plus, there's Nihilus. It's pretty obvious this shakedown run is just a cover.
For what?
Damned if I know, Commander. We're out here on false pretenses. I'm not a fan of being left in the dark.
Do you have a problem with the captain?
No, ma'am. But I can't figure out what he's doing here. Captain Anderson is one of the most decorated Special Forces officers in the service. If he melted down all his medals, he could make a life-size statue of himself. You don't send a soldier like that on a do-nothing mission. He's treating this shakedown run too seriously. Something big is going on.
You don't trust Nihilus?
I don't like Turians in general. It runs in my family. My grandfather fought in the First Contact War. Lost a lot of friends when the Turians hit us.
That was 30 years ago. You can't blame Nihilus for that.
No, I guess not. But it still makes me nervous to have a Spectre on board, especially a Turian. We're an Alliance vessel, human military, but Nihilus doesn't answer to the captain like the rest of us. Spectres operate outside the normal chain of command. And they don't come along just to observe shakedown runs. Nihilus looks like he's expecting some heavy action. I don't like it.
It's gotta be... What do I make go away after a while? Oh, okay, there we go. Always show messages. That was turned on, apparently. Alright, let me try another one, then we'll do the Discord one. That one didn't show up very well when it was black text. Alright, so there, that's there, and then hopefully it'll disappear after about 15 seconds, I think.
I'll see if I can get some answers when I see him.
There we go.
Good luck, Commander.
I grew up on Eden Prime, Doc. It's not the kind of place Spectres visit. There's something Nihilus isn't telling us about this mission.
Dr. Chuck.
What do you think, Commander? We won't be staying on Eden Prime too long, will we? I'm itching for some real action.
I sincerely hope you're kidding, Corporal. Your real action usually ends with me patching up crew members in the infirmary.
You need to calm down, Corporal. A good soldier stays cool even under fire.
Sorry, Commander, but this waiting's killing me. I've never been on a mission like this before, not one with a Spectre on board.
What can you tell me about Nihilus?
Turians are generally well respected by the other species. Their fleet has more patrols protecting Citadel space than any other. They don't always get on well with us, though. Some people find them too rigid. Others still blame them for the First Contact War. As for Nihilus, I haven't said more than 2 words to him. He usually only speaks to the captain.
I heard Nihilus once took down an entire enemy platoon all by himself. Man, I can't believe I'm on a mission with an actual Spectre.
What do you know about the Spectres?
Only what I've heard. Spectre agents work directly for the Citadel Council. They usually work alone or in small groups. Spectres don't have any official power, though. Basically, they're a shadow organization with a mandate to preserve and protect galactic stability.
Protect it at any cost. Don't forget that part. Spectres operate above the law.
Why don't we have any of our own people in there?
Spectres usually come from the Council races, like the Turians. We've been trying to get a human accepted into their ranks for years now. So far, it hasn't happened.
Hey, Commander, you'd make a good Spectre. You're always getting dropped into impossible situations, forced to survive unbeatable odds. Just like you on a cruise.
I try not to think about it, Kuz.
Sorry, Commander. I didn't mean to offend you. I respect what you did there. We all do.
Let's not dwell on the past, Commander. Was there something else you needed?
You're from Eden Prime, aren't you, Jenkins? What's it like?
It's very peaceful, Commander. They've been real careful with development, so you don't have any city noise or pollution. My parents lived on the outskirts of the colony. At night, I used to climb this big hill and stare across the fields back at the lights from the main settlement. It was gorgeous. But when I got older, I realized it was a little too calm and quiet for me. That's why I joined the Alliance. Even Paradise gets boring after a while.
Any idea why Eden Prime was chosen as our destination?
Not really sure, Commander. Eden Prime's one of our most stable colonies. Good place to take the Normandy for a shakedown run, I guess. No real danger there. There's gotta be something else going on. We've got a Spectre on board. That's why I'm so wound up. I can't wait for the real mission to start.
Just treat this like every other assignment you've had and everything will work out.
Easy for you to say. You proved yourself on a cruise. Everybody knows what you can do. This is my big chance. I need to show the brass what I can do.
You're young, Corporal. You have a long career ahead of you. Don't do something stupid to mess it up.
Don't worry, ma'am. I'm not gonna screw this up.
The captain's waiting for me.
Goodbye, Commander.
Okay, so I think that's sufficient for now. There. I'll be talking through more of what I'm doing with the story as I'm poking at this stuff and taking notes and learning more about it, and I'll talk about how I'm going to apply some of these things and things that I'm going to change and stuff I'm not going to change. But one thing I want to note real quick, just because I am here, that's not where I'm trying to go yet, is that there's a lot of tension, like different species in this game, you know, interact with each other in different ways. They have certain interactions, social interactions, and social views of each other, and cultural approaches to things that I want to preserve in some way. I was debating how I was going to do that, whether I was going to have all of the species translate to human, whether I was going to have, you know, so everyone was a human being with different backgrounds or whatever. I think I do want to have the different species traits shine through. So the Turians are Turians. They're just somewhere else on the planet. And I'm going to borrow cultural elements from different Earth cultures to help translate some of these things. There's not going to be any one-to-one comparison. Like if I borrow cultural elements from culture A to, you know, explain what's going on with how people view species A in the game, it's not because I want them to be read exactly as being that social or ethnic group or whatever. It's that this helps translate the concept. So, like, one of the things I'm leaning towards is that humans, the Alliance, are basically the United States, and that's largely because a lot of how they design the military, how they talk, how the characters talk, how they kind of have humans view the world it looks very informed by American sensibilities. Like, I know, I believe this was mostly built in Canada, this game, but there's a lot of American, or at least very Western, notions that inform how the Alliance functions and thinks and interacts with things. And so I'm going to have them be functionally Americans. I'm going to borrow elements of America for that, the United States of America. Whereas the Turians have this kind of military background with some very moderately fresh animosity with humans, a certain level of distrust, and they're viewed very heavily as being very engineering-minded, very focused, and so there are cultural elements that I'm going to borrow from Germany to kind of explore them and to explain, you know, so some of the behaviors, some of the animosity, or some of the just kind of social views that humans have of Turians and Turians have of humans in the game. I'm gonna borrow American views of Germans and Germans' view of Americans around, you know, in the wake of World War II, to translate those ideas into the setting. Again, the Turians aren't German, and much more concerningly, you know, I don't think Germans are Turians, but some of those social cues and some of those ideas and some of those social interactions and you know, maybe some cultural systems to kind of explain some of that stuff is what I'm going to be doing. So anyway, I'm going to stop there for now. I'll start my playthrough in earnest next time. But feel free to come and check it out. I have a lot of things running right now, is why I think this is glitching. I'm going to have to see how many of them I need to have running to run it with the mods. But so I'll try to address that. I'm supposed to be streaming my writing on Mondays. Hopefully I'll be able to actually pull it off. I was sick last Monday and couldn't. Hopefully I'll be able to do that tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And then, of course, there are other streams throughout the week. I run a Mutants Masterminds online campaign that'll happen on Thursday nights, and happens every Thursday night. We'll have that going on. This week, actually, someone else is going to be DMing at the beginning of it because they're cleaning up a guest storyline. And I can kind of explain some of that another time, how that all works. And on Friday nights, my wife and I do couple streaming. We just started a game of Never Alone, so that's exciting. We're looking forward to more of that. Beautiful game. We're really having fun with it so far. And there might be some other times I pop in throughout the week. So thank you very much. Check out our Discord. I posted the link in the chat. Also, check out my fundraiser. I'm raising money for Boston Children's Boston Children's Hospital by way of Children's Miracle Network. There's a donate link below this. Oh, I hit a wrong button. Whatever, I'll just... Let's see here. Extra life. Yeah, okay, that's very long. I need to work on that. But, you know, that's going to take you to my Extra Life donation page. The second link is for my team. It's called Rabbit Haberdashery. Everyone in that is raising money for for Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Most of us are raising money for Boston Children's Hospital, but there's also Orlando, San Diego, and Buffalo represented in there. So feel free to donate to any of those. I'd love to have your support on that. And of course, I have my urban fantasy series, Tall Tales, at talltalesuf.com. Currently, it is on a scheduled hiatus as I get a lot of work done on Volume 3. So now is a great time to try catching up on Volumes 1 and 2 on the website, or picking up one of the books. They're available on Amazon. There's links to the Amazon store on the Tall Tales website, so talltalesuf.com. Thank you very much.